Right, hello. I didn't actually expect to do another video this soon, having knocked out a couple lately. Before I start, please do bear with me. I have to try and compose myself because this is just, I had this phone call about an hour and a half ago, so I'm just going to start by saying I've just realised, I don't actually know if I touched on it at the time, I can't really remember, but there was a video called The Coppers Come A-Calling of More Threats, I think it was, and that spawned, because there was investigations and reports, that spawned quite a few videos about that. But these two coppers, let's call them Pinky and Perky, turned up at my door one night, about 9 o'clock at night it was, and said, can you come down the station to answer these questions? Funnily enough, I said no, you know. Well, one of them was wearing like a police waistcoat, and on it he had these sergeant's chevrons on the chest, which he thinks was a camera, but I've asked for the webcam footage several times and it's never turned up, so we know he's lying about that. So it never occurred to me, because I made the complaint, and I said a uniformed officer, because I think he was wearing dark trousers at the time as well. I said a uniformed officer and a CID officer. Well, it came back, they were both CID. So why in the hell would CID turn up with a police waistcoat and a sergeant's badge? You know, unless they obviously had no intention of showing me their IDs, because they wanted me to know they were coppers as soon as I opened the door, and jumped to that assumption, which I did. So very cleverly played, boys, very cleverly played. But they obviously had no intention of showing me their IDs, and therefore that visit was nothing but purely threatening behaviour. So again, really they should both be arrested, to be honest. But that's by the by. Right, I've calmed down now. Right. So I had a phone call from my mate with a burger van, say about an hour and a half ago. He was supposed to be in court on Wednesday. Now this was when they'd initially put the wrong name on the summons, so they changed the name. Then they gave him about 6 days notice, so he said he wouldn't be turning up. Then they gave him 21 days notice from the day of sending the letter. So he sent a letter to the court saying, "Oh well, that's ridiculous," because the letter was taking about 6 days to reach me, which I think it had. So apparently they just went ahead with the case, completely ignored that letter, because that's just the court. I think it's the magistrate's court at Peterborough. So obviously we all know, or you will all know in a minute, that the entire staff, or whoever dealt with this at Peterborough Magistrates Court, is guilty of misconduct in public office and various other offences. Anyway, so we know now the court is bent. That's fine, because that was the subject of an earlier video and we weren't sure. So that they've confirmed that now, because of what I'm about to tell you. So they've convicted him on trading in a licensed street. That's all it said. Nothing about the 1982 Miscellaneous Government Provisions Act. Nothing about the council having permission to charge for a trading licence. So they've actually convicted him on trading in a licensed street. That's what he said the letter said. So I said to him, well, that's like saying, you know, you've got a police investigation, and that's like the report saying the suspect was walking down the street, so we arrested him, with no mention of a crime or anything. So whereas the original summons had, the illegal summons by the way, because of course the council cannot charge for trading lists, so, whereas the original summons did make mention to the Miscellaneous Government Provisions Act, This is what they've actually done it for. Trading in a licensed street. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And it gets better. Right, so they've fined them £210 for trading in a licensed street, which isn't an offence, because it gives no detail as to how that is an offence. And they've charged them £125 for court costs. So what happened to the 6 months' money that the council was chasing? The £800 and odd pound. It's not there. So and then right, I said, is it signed? He said no. I suppose a bunch of bullshit then. He said, oh well, he says it's unsigned. I said, yes, you mean it's not signed? No, no, he says, they've actually written at the bottom, unsigned. So this is quite incredible, this really is. I mean, my head is spinning with this. I mean, there's the usual threats, you know, if you don't pay, we'll make deductions from your wages. They can't do that, you're self-employed. Then we'll send the bailiffs in. I said, well, wait for them to send the bailiffs in, because I'll just break the law again. Debt nullified. Oh, and they can send them to jail, apparently. On an unsigned court warrant, which doesn't have an offence on it. So we'll see. I'm not going to spoil the surprise, our plans. We have plans, obviously. Sort of. So remember, if you get a court warrant through that's got no actual offence on it, and you're not being chased for any of the money that you were taken to court for, you're in essence just being charged for going to court, and it's unsigned, obviously pay up, guys. That's serious. No, it's not, I just can't believe we've done this. I know the police are watching, so obviously I want the entire staff at Peterborough Magistrates Court arrested for misconduct. But then the Chief Constable's so bought and paid for, as I've said before, he might as well be in an auction house window. So the police won't do anything because they're too busy trying to arrest me and him for exposing 30 years of corruption. Don't forget now, if you don't commit an offence, you're going to go to jail. If you obey the law, you're going to jail. This is what David Cameron meant, isn't it? We can't just let you obey the law, you know. We've really got to start questioning you. Not obeying the law is not fucking enough, is it? No, 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 we'll find something. Right, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to get this uploaded before I just collapse in tears of laughter. And yes, thank you for watching.